Family planned a vacation and forgot to invite me. My brain is spinning in the way that only narcissists can make it spin. For some context, I had just been patting myself on the back for surviving another combined Mother's Day / my birthday, 37, get-together with my parents, where for the third year in a row, the only mention of my birthday was after we cut a cake. My mother says, "Oh, we forgot to sing." No card, no one even says the words "Happy Birthday." Every Memorial Day, my parents, my sister's family, and my family go on vacation together. Last year, we didn't for obvious reasons, and this year seemed to be heading in the same direction. It was never even brought up until yesterday. I get a text from my sister saying that they had been planning it for 6 to 8 months, just in case it was safe, and forgot to mention it to me. The trip was a 5-day vacation, 8 days from now. Can you make it? Obviously, I said no, and that was it. I left it alone. Then my mother texted me and said, "I wanted you to see this. It's a gut feeling, and I don't want you to feel like it was planned." This text was followed by many screen grabs of her and my sister laughing that they forgot to invite me. I think it was supposed to make me feel better. At no point has anyone said, "I'm sorry we forgot to invite you." My family are firm believers that if you didn't do something on purpose, then there's no need to be sorry. I responded to my mother and said, "Well, I'm glad everyone got a good laugh out of it." To which she responded, "I'll let that one roll. I should have known better." That response was enough to send me over the edge and group text them to say, "I can't believe that no one thought that this would hurt my feelings." I fought myself so hard on responding, and I should have trusted my gut because it's always an explosion when you say my feelings are hurt in my family. And since then, I have been drowning in a list of reasons that no one needs to be sorry, how it was just an accident. For every time they say no one did this on purpose, I respond again. I don't care how it happened. I know it wasn't on purpose. I care that no one thought that this would hurt my feelings or even try to understand how it would be hurtful. When I called out my sister and told her that listing reasons I shouldn't feel bad and then apologizing is not helpful, she responded by saying, "Fine, I will rearrange it." She then said, "I'm sorry you found this hurtful," and then copy and pasted the reasons again that I shouldn't be hurt. I keep asking how in 6 months of planning, no one wondered out loud if I could make it. How my presence didn't come up in one conversation. This was the last response I received from my mother before blocking both of them. You honestly believe that this trip was planned and you weren't invited? That's what you think of me? Dad? That we would intentionally hide it from you, or that your sister had an agenda and I went along with it? Shame on you for thinking like that. There is no remorse needed. It was a genuine mix-up. No one's out to get you. Jesus Christ. How old were you this year? Haven't we always been there for you every time you needed us? And yet, we would go behind your back and do this? You better take a little time and think about what I'm saying. You are done, and so am I. No matter how many times I say, "No one is out to get me," I know it wasn't on purpose. They won't hear me. I'm slamming my head against a brick wall, and I have no idea what to do. I honestly want to cut contact with both of them, but I literally moved across the country to be close to them and my niece again, and losing contact with my niece is what really hurts. Edit. I forgot to include the part where a week ago, my mum asked me if I wouldn't mind being an emergency contact for her dogs whenever they board their dogs. I got confused because I live an hour away and my sister lives 1 mile away. And I said, wouldn't it be easier to use sister? My mum got awkward and said she just wanted extra backup. This was also addressed in the screen grabs. That was the moment my mum figured out that I wasn't invited and didn't know it. It turns out when she asked me, she specifically was talking about this up north trip, thinking that I wasn't going intentionally, and still didn't say anything to me or my sister, like snotty teenagers that didn't want me at a party. In the comments, Eliza Pie says, "Oh man, I'm so sorry to hear this. The easy choice would be cutting contact, because to me, it seems impossible to change people like this. It seems like you don't want that, which I get. Maybe there's another way that I'm not seeing. OP replies, "This is my first time posting about my narcissist family, and I can't believe how good this response feels. Thank you." Well, to be frank, they're terrible people. You were so unimportant to them that they didn't even think of you for 6 to 8 months. And they don't even value you enough to bother with apologizing. Honestly, with the way that they tried to gaslight you, I wouldn't blame you if you decided to cut contact. You're better off. Definitely not the same, but my family also planned a vacation knowing that I wouldn't be able to come. OP replies, "It's so crazy to follow these threads for years and never post, and you always think, well, my family's bad, but they would never yada yada yada. And to finally start to suspect actual gaslighting was really painful. Then to hear you folks confirm it so quickly is honestly a relief. Narcissists can make you feel absolutely insane." A deleted commenter says, "Your family's behavior is extremely immature and toxic. I would strongly advise you to go no contact with them. Make sure that you have a therapist to help you navigate that. You are right that they are behaving terribly and it's not fair to you, but I think you may be conditioned to play the victim role as well, and you've been comfortable with it. No one would put up with that kind of behavior unless it is developed into a lifelong habit. If you really want to be free and find people who love you for you, find a good therapist and cut your family completely out of your life. It's scary at first, but you'll win every time, even on your lowest days." OP replies, "Excellent advice. And my therapist is excellent and kind of how I got to this point. I grew out of the victim role through a lot of hard work, honestly, and I just kept them at an arm's length. I stayed out of their lives mostly, and am just happy to live mine. And I never respond. They got the better of me this time because they just seemed to go out of their way to hurt me. It looks like I need to distance a little further." Yeah, this sounds so exhausting. These people are not nice people, OP, because family should not be continually leaving you out like this. You moved to the other side of the country to be with them, and they still outcast you. It makes it feel like all of that effort was for nothing. If this is how you're treated, why the hell would you even do that? Like, not attacking you there, but this is attacking them. They don't recognize how big of a move that is, and uprooting your life like that to be there for them, just for them to bully you. What the hell? Like, you've been trying so hard to keep this relationship going with these people that don't ever consider your feelings. That's hard. You're not crazy, you're not oversensitive. I think you're reacting like a normal person, any normal person would, after being dismissed and gaslit over and over. If I were your friend, I'd tell you this: stop trying to get emotional accountability from people who don't even speak that language. You need to protect your peace and, focus on your niece, yes, that's what you're over here for, but keep your boundaries so that you're not constantly reopening your wounds, hoping for empathy that just will not come from these people. You deserve people who remember your birthday without having to be reminded. You do not deserve to constantly be treated like you're an afterthought. And now, onto the update, titled, "After the fallout, Mum is demanding that I pay for student loans." Some of you might remember the fallout. My family planned a vacation and forgot to invite me, which resulted in my mother shaming me for having hurt feelings. I've repaired things with my dad and sister, but my mother is a raging narcissist, so I have to decide what I'm willing to take. I wasn't ready to go no contact, so I was trying to manifest a very low contact relationship. I was still able to chat with my sister and my dad, and had one phone conversation with my mum and dad about a month ago that was neutral and easy. In her first attempt at contact since our fight, my mother has emailed me, giving me a list of options for me to take over student loan payments. 20 years later. When I was a senior in high school, my parents told me that they would pay for my education. About 2 years in, they wouldn't or couldn't take out any more loans, and I took over getting my own financial aid. I covered 70% of my education. She has been deferring and accruing interest on the loan for 20 years. and maybe even refinanced them. As she mentioned, they are still accruing interest, which leads me to believe that they do not fall under the umbrella of the student loan pause. The loans that she wants me to take over are in her name completely. These are her exact words. "This is what we thought would be fair. Pay part of it off and we will call it even. Take over the payments of $308 now and increases. Pay the interest or you can choose to do nothing. No loan terms, no end date, no exact amount." My inner child is screaming for me to pay them off so I can still be close with my mummy. My adult self is telling me that she can't unring that bell, and even if I pay her, our relationship will never be the same. My therapied self is telling me that my mother is punishing me for standing up for myself and is quantifying how bad I want a relationship with her in actual dollars. Help. Update 2. I responded. "Hi. Yes, I remember you bringing them up several times because I knew that they were not all mine, but I had no way to defend myself as I don't have access to loans that aren't mine. As you told me that you would pay for my education, I thought that you were venting. I didn't realize that you were hinting at the fact that you changed your mind. I'm currently paying off much more than what you've listed here, so I think it's fair and even to keep things as they are. I've had no control or oversight over this debt for the last 20 years, so I don't think me stepping in now is wise. But I won't do nothing. I will continue to pay off the lion's share of my student loans as I have been. It's hard to tell from the screen grabs of Sister's loans and the tweets, but it looks like I'm covering at about 70% already. OP. And now onto update 3, titled, "Is my sister being used against me?" If you want to go read my history, go ahead. Very briefly, I had a falling out with my family a year and a half ago, and I try to maintain low contact. Which of course means that I'm still jumping through hoops, but I'm able to keep my sanity. Because of this, my mother tries to frequently get me to play the game, and the less I engage, the more my mother raises the stakes. And because she's much better at the game, I have trouble seeing things clearly sometimes. My mother called me on Monday to let me know that my sister with cerebral palsy is in the hospital. She assured me that everything was fine. My sister just needed some help because she has the flu, and everything is more complicated by cerebral palsy. My father called me on Tuesday morning from the hospital so that I could talk to my sister. She communicates through squeals and a very expressive face. Again, my dad assured me that everything was fine and that they were hoping to take her home that day. Tuesday night, my mother calls me to give me another update and to tell me that she did not in fact come home from hospital, but is still improving. They just want to keep her one more day. And then she finishes the call with, "Can you come sit with her for a while?" My mother and father both have the flu as well, and I live 90 miles away. They had to wait 24 hours just to get her in a room because the hospital is so overfilled with flu and COVID patients. My sane brain is telling me not to go to the place with all the sick people, but my fogged up brain is saying, "How dare you not go visit your sister when she's in the hospital?" For some backstory, my husband and I decided to travel for Christmas this year instead of a painful family holiday, which I told my mother twice, and she's forgotten twice, and still tries to tell me about times and plans for Christmas. My gut is telling me that this is a reaction to that, but I'm still working on fixing my intuition after a lifetime of manipulation. Am I right in thinking that I shouldn't go down there, or am I being selfish? In the comments, Stinksnake says, "Nothing says family bonding like forgetting that you exist for half a year and then blaming you for noticing." I'm willing to bet that it was actually on purpose. They have a family chat that they never talk about the family vacation in? There's no way that it wasn't. I'm guessing the mum despises the kid for some reason. The loan thing was just malicious. It would have been one thing if they made her pay them when they refused to sign for more, but just letting them fester for 2 decades would be crippling. Yeah, no, OP, you're not selfish. You're not selfish at all. You are being clear-headed and precise about all of this, like you need to be to protect yourself. This is all classic manipulation. She knows that you've built distance. She's trying to pull you back in through guilt and urgency, using your sister's situation as emotional leverage over you. If your sister is stable and that your parents are there, I don't think there's any need for you to risk your health or your peace to go see her. You have those boundaries up for a reason. Your mother is acutely aware of that, and she is doing everything in her power to break through those boundaries. I'd say just send love, check in by phone or check in by video, but do not take that bait. You're not abandoning your sister by doing that, regardless of what your mum says about you not being there. I think you're protecting yourself from being dragged back into a cycle that your mum keeps creating. You need to stick to your boundaries, you need to take your trip, and remind yourself that compassion doesn't mean sacrificing yourself. You do not need to self-sacrifice when it comes to being compassionate for your family, for your sister, for anyone. Your mum damn well knows that, but she will do it regardless. She will force you to self-sacrifice through everything she's doing. Screw her and maintain those boundaries, please. Thank you for the story and thank you for the update. Our next post is by a deleted account and it's titled, "Am I the arsehole for turning my sister-in-law gay? I'm 30 female and a lesbian. Been out and proud since 05. I've been living with my brother and sister-in-law since the start of 2019, a year before quarantine happened. But this drama stuff blew up within the last couple weeks. Okay, so I asked to move in to my brother and sister-in-law's place for a while so I could save up for a nicer place. My last apartment was in a shit area and I didn't feel safe. They agreed because they knew how dangerous my place was, and bro thought that it would be a good idea for sister-in-law to have someone around while he was gone. For your information, he's a truck driver and is gone for like over a week at a time and had to leave sister-in-law home alone. Alright, well, their house isn't a mansion, but it's roomy enough to where I could have my then friends with benefits over on some nights a week without worrying that I'd be disturbing sister-in-law. Their bedroom is like across the house from my room/guest room, and I asked if it was cool with them beforehand, and they said as long as I and anyone I brought over was quiet and respectful, then it would be okay. So, I would regularly bring over friends with benefits and girlfriends if I was dating them at the time, but that all stopped once quarantine happened. Well, bro and I still have our jobs. Sister-in-law and I have been hanging out more, since we're pretty much the only company we get, but I noticed that she's been acting odd for a month or so into the quarantine, but I figured that it was just cabin fever jitters. Understandable. But then the last few times bro came home, things between him and sister-in-law were a little off. I figured that they were having a spat, and it didn't involve me. Well, apparently it did, because bro came home a couple of days ago, and things were still tense. I didn't even eat dinner with them. I just ate in my room. But after dinner, I heard yelling from the other side of the house, but before I could get up to check it out, I heard stomping feet, and then bro bust into my room and started cussing me out and saying I ruined his marriage, and sister-in-law was yelling at him to stop and that it wasn't her fault. I'm just so confused. I of course ask what the hell is even happening. I don't think I have enough space to type out the gritty of the convo, but apparently sister-in-law is/was a closeted lesbian, and she came out to bro after dinner. She explained it that seeing me be so happy and out made it hard for her to keep up the lie. I'm still speechless because I had no clue that she was anything but straight. I'm not saying gaydar is real, but usually I'll at least get a vibe. But then bro says that I'm an evil asshole, and I turned his wife gay, and how he never should have let me move in. Sister-in-law told him to stop, how she would have come out eventually, with or without me there. I felt really awkward, and bro said that I need to be gone by the time he returns from his next trip. Which was heartbreaking, because he really looked like he hated my guts, and I feel like such an asshole. Sister-in-law and bro always seemed so happy, like the perfect couple. But I called my friend, and she said I'm not the arsehole. I'm just tired and unsure. Am I the arsehole? In the comments, no arseholes here. You didn't turn her gay. She realized she wasn't straight and she told your bro. If anything, sister-in-law was an asshole for potentially stringing your bro along if she didn't have feelings for him, but maybe she thought she could cure her gayness. Super unpleasant for all parties involved, but no one's actually really bad here. OP replies, sister-in-law said that she didn't think she was gay until about 3 years ago. They got married about 7 years previous, and she was too scared to acknowledge it because of the way that her shitty parents raised her, on top of the fact that she had been married to my bro for nearly 4 years by then. She said she mostly kept silent because saying anything would have hurt my bro, and despite everything, she said she cares about him a lot. I really don't understand how this works, so help me out here. Sister-in-law is an adult woman that married your brother. I presume that she had sexual urges her whole adult life, and those apparently didn't include men. Therefore, at no point did she feel any sexual attraction to your brother. Why did she marry him then in the first place? OP replies, I had to ask her this, because at the end of the day, I don't know what it's like to marry someone you're not attracted to, and she said that she's only recently understood that the strong platonic love that she felt for the women friends in her life was actually romantic/sexual attraction. She grew up in a very staunchly religious home with very homophobic parents who condemned everything not traditional/heterosexual. Apparently her mother and father openly hated each other and treated her and her siblings even worse. So she grew up with the mindset that her marriage would follow the same tone. So she dated men, felt nothing from them, and the sex was uneventful, but it was expected. So no red flags there, and when she met my brother, they really hit it off. And she assumed that that was her in love. She and my bro had the same hobbies. They liked the same music, and just generally synced up perfectly. She said the bedroom stuff was still uneventful, but again, she'd seen the women that she grew up around all look unhappy, so that must be normal. She mistook her close platonic love for my brother as romantic love, so they got married. Not the asshole. If anything, your brother is. I understand that he's hurt, but he's taking his hurt as an opportunity to be homophobic. Anyone who's truly an ally wouldn't say that because they understand that turning someone gay is impossible. Even if it's hard, he should have understood that his wife has always been a lesbian and that it would have come out eventually, or she would have lived miserably, and that she's probably still his friend. She did marry him after all. He owes you an apology as far as I'm concerned. OP replies, I'm trying to keep that in mind. He's hurting, but he and I will talk when he's back and had time to think. And yes, sister-in-law said she does love him in a way, just not the way that he wants, and she wishes that she could love him the way he wants. She said she married him because she cares about him and that she thought that's just how getting married was supposed to be. Not the asshole, but perhaps you should distance yourself for a bit. He's reacting with anger to this breakup and misdirecting it at you. Hopefully it doesn't take too long for him to see that you had nothing to do with it. OP replies, well, I'm in the process of moving out. He made it clear that I'm not going to be welcome when he gets home, so hopefully that will help. Like everyone else here is saying, you're not the arsehole here. None of this is on you. He's emotional. He's worked up. This is seemingly the end of his marriage. He's looking for someone to blame. Like, I understand why he's acting the way he is. But your sister-in-law didn't turn gay because of you. This has been a long time coming, and she's finally finding the courage to stop pretending. And just having your openness there as an openly gay woman reminded her that it is possible to live honestly. He's lashing out because he's hurt and he's confused, but that pain that he's feeling and carrying does not justify blaming you for this. I think you should give him space and move out like you're planning to, and just give yourself a bunch of space and time away from him. Time will do the heavy lifting on this one. Hopefully, once the shock fades, he will realize that you didn't ruin his marriage. It was the lie that she had to live in that did. Good luck with all of this, OP. I'm keen to see how this progresses. But you handled this entire situation with limitless amounts of grace, and I thank you for that. And now, onto the update. Hey guys, sorry for the dead silence. Well, I moved out, got my new place, and it's pretty nice. It's weird not having anyone here when I get back from work, but I'm sure that's just because I've been living at Bro's place so long. But I know you all just want to hear about bro/sister-in-law and not my new place. So, bro and sister-in-law are definitely getting divorced. I moved out before he got back, just like he wanted. Before I did though, bro called me and we talked on the phone while he was off the clock. Like a lot of you predicted, he asked if sister-in-law and I had slept together at any point. I'm not proud, but I sort of flipped my shit on him for that. He knows my dating history. He knows how I feel about cheaters. I told him that it hurt to know that he thinks I'm no better than my cheating ex, that I cared so little about our bro-sis relationship that I'd actually fuck his wife, who I reiterated that I only see as a sister, but even if I didn't, I'd still never cheat. He broke down, you guys. Full-on ugly cried on the phone. It was awkward, but I think he really needed it. He apologized for everything. Going ballistic on me, kicking me out during a pandemic, thinking that I'd cheat with anyone. Everything. I told him thanks, but I need time to forgive him. The hurt's not gonna disappear just because he said sorry, but it helped soothe it, and I said I still love him. He said I didn't have to move out, but I said I was already in the process of getting my new place. So it was fine. I could tell he felt bad still, but I didn't try to placate him. Some of you said that I shouldn't have to. I shouldn't say it's okay because it's not, because how he treated me isn't okay. But he told me that he and sister-in-law were definitely splitting up. I told him I figured so. What with everything. No counseling can save a marriage where one partner is gay, but I didn't say that. Just that I thought so. He tried to lighten the mood by saying he asked sister-in-law about the cheating thing first, and she flipped her shit on him even worse than I did. He said it jokey, but I can tell he was serious. I asked what she said, and he sort of sounded awkward, but said that she told him, I found out I was gay, but that doesn't mean that I'm some cheating whore. That, and just how gross he was for thinking that she'd screw some kid. Thanks for that. Let alone her husband's kid's sister that she's known since said kid was a minor. Also that it was messed up that he just automatically assumed that she would hop on the first gay woman in her vicinity when they were still very much married. And it was just all around not well received by sister-in-law, which I can understand. Being accused of cheating by people you love fucking hurts. Last I checked, things were civil between bro and sister-in-law. She moved fully into the other bedroom so she and he could have the space, I guess, for when he was home. Sister-in-law is trying to move the divorce along, but from what I've heard, bro is sorta dragging his feet. I don't know what's going on there, and I haven't asked. It's not my business, to be honest. Our family is disappointed that they're splitting, but with the circumstances, they understand it's necessary. I talk to bro a few times a week, just texting, but I told him about how there's support groups for spouses whose partner came out as gay, and he should check them out. It would help him through this. He sounded hesitant, but said he'd look into it, so that's good. I don't know if he will, but I do hope so. I also pointed sister-in-law in the direction of some threads for people who realized they were gay while in a straight relationship, and she was thankful. And that's about it. I still speak to sister-in-law. I'd feel like shit just cutting her off like some people suggested. She's like my big sister. I've known her for years. And aside from this, she's been nothing but the best wife/sister-in-law ever, so I don't know. We're all moving forward. Sorry nothing super dramatic happened, but at least it wasn't a sad update. Peace, everyone. Thanks for helping me work this crap out. OP, you handled this incredibly painful situation with so much maturity. Thank you for doing that. You didn't feed into his anger, you stood up for yourself, and you still showed compassion to both him and your sister-in-law. Because whatever happened between them was never your fault. His apology shows real growth in him, and I think it's necessary that you put those boundaries up that you did. I wouldn't move back in with him after all of this. Just keep that space between you guys right now. He's not done healing from this. It's gonna take a while. Still stay connected with both of them in the ways that you feel are healthy, and yeah, I hope it continues to get better from here. You did right by everyone, including yourself in this situation, and that's all we can ask for. Thank you for being awesome, thank you for doing all of that, and thank you for coming back with the update. Anyway, guys, that's where I'm going to end today's episode. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!